Hello and welcome to Funny Science Fiction, the live edition.
Hey, you got it on time that time, Tim.
I was just going to say, I'm watching it over here, and by golly, Tim, you did it.
10 gets you, wait a minute, 10, I was going to say 10 gets you 20, that Nick's 0 made it in. Or is it the only way that it made it in is me just saying it just now?
Wait, let me, scrolling back.
Scrolling.
No,
I'll be good. Yeah. All right. Well, all right, guys, welcome to
present. Sorry, what? I feel like I'm in Spaceballs over here.
Oh, when is this happening? It's now, sir. All right. So welcome to the Funny Science Fiction Podcast, the live edition, the podcast that helped Darth Vader write his parenting and child raising books. There's a dad joke in there somewhere. I can sense it.
Are we? Wow. Mick, I'm sorry. Just apologize before Mick gets here.
Good evening, fancy folks.
Why, good evening, Mr. Casey.
When will they be now? Well, now, sir.
Except for when it's then.
And before we get into tonight's show, we need to say thanks to our show partners, River City Tees and Level Up Lightsabers. Get out your geisha fans. Tim,
do you have the videos loaded?
I do.
I'm so proud of you.
And they're even ready to roll.
Whoa!
With over 700 designs to choose from, River City Tees has something for everyone. Need some new nerd merch? River City Tees has you covered. Need funny or sarcastic designs? River City Tees has you covered. Are you looking for a new logo or custom design? Whether you need 1 or 100, River City Tees has you covered. With multiple colors and options for each and every design. With things to choose from like shirts, hoodies, phone cases, coffee mugs, and so much more. Be sure to follow River City Tees on Facebook and Instagram. If you do, you'll get the latest on designs and information about upcoming sales. River City Tees. Let's make a shirt together. Yeah, and before we play the other video, for all openness and honesty here, I showed John's comment and tried to comment on it, while our microphones are muted in the video. So here it is. Because I'm smart. If you're in Spaceballs, what does that say about the people you're surrounded by?
Hey, John, just take that W off the last name. That's what it says about you. I love you.
Some guy named Nicholas Stockbridge commented and said that it says we be jammin'. So,
that scene where they're like, sir, we've been jammed.
Yes, baby.
Oh, I got it.
All right. That was one sponsor.
I'm starting to agree with your wife, John, just so you know.
And Level Up Lightsabers.
That's my one.
Sorry.
Nick just thinks he gets to announce it because he's the only one of us that actually owns one. But that's because he doesn't have a spouse or children or bills.
He has bills. He just doesn't have the other two. The sarcasm is rolling strong out of John. John, you better run.
I think she just left to kill him.
Yeah, there's a 3-second delay.
All right. Well, the links for our fabulous sponsors will be in the comments below. If Tim remembers how to do that too.
Well, I would, but our wonderful Facebook users reminding us that if we were to do a certain type of ad, like every other decent YouTuber, it would give us credibility. Hey, what's up, George? Welcome.
Yeah,
to the
but
madness.
Do we really want credibility?
No,
really?
I kind of like where we're at.
I do use their razor on my mustache.
So obviously it doesn't work since you still have a mustache.
So it's nice to have Nick on the show tonight.
Well, tonight we welcome two podcasters to our live show. Shannon Perry from the OZ9 Podcast, almost said 9 Ounce Podcast.
Former guest.
Former guest co-host as well.
Well, yeah. So we interviewed her individually, and then of course she was a co-host with us for the Robin Curtis episode. She was kind enough to come on and put up with us. I mean, help us out.
It was because she wanted to talk to Robin Curtis.
Oh, hell yeah.
The only reason I do the show. I get it.
We understand.
And Fred says he's stuck in a dark room. Speaking of Fred, Carroll,
we're scared lost.
He's also our other guest here. He is of the head of Fred and Ending the Stigma podcast.
Welcome to both of you.
Hey, how's everyone? Good?
We're doing good, Fred.
I was going to say, there is just a floating head behind Fred.
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
It's two of them.
So before we jump into tonight's topic, I'd love for you guys to take a couple minutes and talk about yourselves, your podcasts, and so where people can find out more about your shows, what's going on. So Shannon, you want to start us off? Tell people about the OZ9 or 9 Ounce, however you want to go about it.
The OZ9. This is my Monday. This is what I do for a living. I talk, and I can't do it when actually called upon to do it. But
you've been here before on Mondays.
I was here last Monday. Remember, Tim?
Hey, look! I got some new Funko Pops.
Whoops! That second part of the Monday of the month didn't actually make it to the memo, but never mind. So, hi, Shannon Perry, OZ9, silly science fiction. This is our ship. Yay! You can find us at https://oz-9.com. You probably didn't need that preliminary part. Do I hear a cat?
That would be from me.
Okay,
I apologize.
Is Ernie feeling left out again?
He is. So I will virtually include him.
Oh, sweet.
With his fancy sunglasses.
Very cool. Very cool.
I would actually let him in here, but he's a bubble.
He's a cat. Enough said.
Because he'll try to step on my keyboard and then bad things will happen. And he has a tendency to step on the power button on my computer. Hey, John, speaking of the cat, can you distract him with treats, snuggles, something?
And Fred, tell us a little bit about your shows.
Okay, so the Head of Fred show has about 10 listeners, and I've been doing it for 4 years. So
11. I just started again. So there you go.
I was going to say, have you gained to 10 or had you exceeded 10 and you're back to 10?
I went to 10 and I felt too successful, so I started over.
Oh, okay.
And rebooted the whole thing and just look at who's that? Michael Kimball. Who's this Michael Kimball? Is this McManhattan? Is this his alter ego on this show?
It's his alter ego, yes. He thinks you look very thrilled, though.
I am thrilled. I'm always thrilled.
He uses
except
his
when I'm
alter
on
ego.
his shows.
I'm not taking you to the emergency room, John.
Ernie's getting a bath. Give Ernie a bath. I'm not a cat person, by the way. But we won't get into that. I'm also not a sci-fi person, which makes no sense at all.
Are you dude with the ET poster behind him?
But that's about characters, not about science fiction. But we'll get into this later. Because the Head of Fred show is a show that is pop culture entertainment, a little R-rated at times, but it's truthful, honest, fun, and funny, and all that stuff. My other show is Ending the Stigma, and Ending the Stigma is my new baby, which is more of a serious side of myself, me and Scott H. Silverman, and we come on and we talk about mental health and we talk about drug addiction in a live format, and it's changing now. We got a new exciting thing because I now have a phone system hooked into my, like a radio station, a real phone system.
Nice.
So we're going to be able to take live calls from a 1-800 number where we could talk to people and try to do our best to either listen to them, which is important, and the other is to help them.
And having been a part of your show, both as a guest and as a guest co-host once with Scott, the important thing about the Ending the Stigma show is that it's open, honest conversation, and Scott is a nationally recognized crisis manager. And so he knows his stuff. He's a former addict himself. He's, as he likes to say, not a former addict, he's a recovering addict. And he knows his stuff. He knows exactly what he's doing. So
he does, and he has favorite quotes too. We talk about it all the time. He always he likes to say, pressure burst pipes. He says it in every episode, and he doesn't even know he says it. So we're going to see if we can get him to change. But yeah, it's been okay. I won't say that it's enjoyable all the time. It's hard to talk about bad stuff every week. There's no positives. So hopefully we get some phone calls. We'd like to get people to tell us their story of success and stuff. So that would be much better on my end, because I'm the comedy side. And it's hard to be funny talking about mental health.
Yeah, it's a difficult topic, but it's a topic that needs to be done. And like the title suggests, the stigma needs to end.
Yeah, on all those
things. Yep, exactly. So very cool. Where can people find your podcast?
So it's true. You could either go to my website, that's venomstudios.com, venomstudios.com, and you can find all my links there. You could also go to Apple, Spotify, all the same ones. Wherever you listen, you could find it. And then we have YouTube channels do I have one for Head of Fred? I don't know. I don't even know what I have anymore. I have so many things that I don't know. All I know is I need to find let's make it more about dating right now. I need a woman who's marginally wealthy, maybe a foot in the grave is okay. These are all good positives. And listen, they're out there. There's people in jail that have more dating life than me. I need her. Find her. Bring her in. She could even like sci-fi.
Can she have Alzheimer's?
And a cat.
Preferably.
I just love the look on Shannon's face of, oh dear God, what did I get myself into?
I'm just going to surround myself with cats to protect myself from Fred.
You will be safer that way.
Michael Kimball would like to know, Fred, if you're putting the funny in sci-fi.
I'm going to try like hell.
There you go. Very good.
I have found that it's even safer when you are surrounded by cats if you then put them in costumes. People stay even farther away from you.
Perfect. And I'd like to say to Michael that you need to watch my show. We're really trying to put the funny in sci-fi.
Actually, the OZ9
Not
is
watch. Listen,
the OZ9 is a very good podcast. I strongly recommend it. I have enjoyed it greatly. So not only is the OZ9 Shannon's show, but she also does a couple of the voices inside of the show as well. There's lots of different characters. It's just go check it out. You can find it on any of your major podcast platforms, and it's a good listen. You guys will like it.
It's not my fault.
There it is.
Awesome. I feel at home now.
She's like, they talked about me. I can be done.
Okay.
All right. So tonight we're going to talk about shows that aren't science fiction. Egads, we're a sci-fi show talking about shows that aren't sci-fi.
How dare we?
But there's a twist.
But the plot twist, but we think that could be science fiction. So each of us are going to tell you the show that we picked and how we're altering the original show to make it something more sci-fi.
Could be? No, I'm just going to say no, it's going to be.
Okay. All right. So, yeah. So
Nick has declared it.
Nick has declared it as such. So at least with his show, it's not a maybe.
The
rest of ours, it might be. Let's see. I only listen to one sci-fi podcast at a time. I can be tempted to leave the current one.
Hey, at least he listens to podcasts. That's better than some other podcast hosts that I know.
Hey. Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. And Drayton Allen's trying to get banned. Well, unfortunately, he's kind of the head.
Right, we
can't
really ban the creator of the show. Can we?
So Deb and Drayton say hello, Shannon. So hello.
Hi. Yeah, I was waving. Did you not see me waving? This is waving. This means hi.
I didn't get a hello.
On the planet.
Just be happy with the hello. Nobody said hi to me.
I'm the favorite.
And we have a suggestion. CSI Miami.
Add Daleks.
So nice.
Well, your intro has a bit of a Doctor Who feel there right at the start with the spinning and the lightning.
Does.
I'm good.
Yeah. That's my fault.
She's okay with it. We're good there.
I'm a Doctor Who fan, so
right.
As every sane person should be.
Right. No,
I now have a mustache as well. So
awesome.
I'm a fan of my wife, and she's a Doctor Who fan, so that makes by extension. All right, Nick, tell us about your show. Tell us about what you picked and why it isn't sci-fi, but how it apparently will be sci-fi.
So I was thinking about different shows, and I was like, what are we missing in the sci-fi realm? And I picked the show Psych. If you're not familiar with the show Psych, it's about a fake psychic detective, Sean Spencer, and his best friend Burton Guster. And they help the police in their detective cases, but he's like hyper observant, but he has claimed to be what he isn't. And so he's got kind of this hidden agenda on his own, and like he'll arrive to crime scenes and stuff before they get there and just happen to show up. And he so the other thing is that I would love to see this in like outer space. I would love to see like a murder mystery type show in space, but a little more on the funny side along with it. And so you have like they could be going to different planets and like be the intergalactic detective agency.
Maybe.
I can't comment. Why can't I comment?
You have to do it. You can't do it from inside the studio. You have to have like a secondary Facebook page or YouTube page open.
Oh, okay.
So
pardon me. Sorry. Carry on.
That's why I think that's what we need in the sci-fi realm is some sort of a murder mystery episodical show that is also funny with really good chemistry between the characters. I mean, could you imagine if the murderer was actually from a parallel universe that came to kill someone?
Well, that's usually what murderers do.
Yeah,
so.
murder. Imagine those
murderers coming to
killing
kill people.
Wow.
What else are
What
they
a
going
stretch.
to do? Make you a souffle?
That murderer came. No, just for a tickle fight. Just for a tickle fight.
Ooh, that's just an awkward murderer.
Our murderers don't seem to succeed very often, so.
Oh no, Mick is asking for me.
That does worry me.
We don't listen to Mick.
We don't. We do.
We do.
Oh, Shannon's jumping in now.
Oh, yeah.
The ability to talk.
She found the talk button.
We're just all gonna sit here on our respective devices, messaging about the podcast that we're on without actually talking to each other.
Who needs to talk? I'll just keep putting the messages up on the board. Just it's the show within the show.
Woo!
This is why we're podcasters. That we don't like to be on camera.
We don't have social skills.
That's right.
So yeah, Nick, from what I was paying attention to and not being distracted by the comments, I feel like it would work as a sci-fi show. But I would see, like, in my mind, I would see Spencer more as like a robot because that would be just fun.
Or even like a funky alien. But you know how Gus is always like, "Hey, did you hear what happened to Pluto?"
Right.
And you know, in the show, you could have like all sorts of crazy things happening on Pluto, kind of thing, instead of it just being a pickup line. I mean, it's his pickup line, like, "Hey."
Yes.
Hey, hey, Tim, we were speaking of names before, and I saw Just In Case pop up there.
Yeah.
like, were his parents even aware when they named him that? Like it's like being named Dick Buttkiss. It's somebody has to be aware of these things when it's going on. We were talking about that was off the air though, so nobody knows what we're talking about.
So what John was referencing there just a second ago, Justin, he said, just in case, that sounds fantastic. Justin said, I actually wrote a space murder mystery entitled Murder on the Orion Express, which that could be really cool and something that could be really fun. Mick is apparently annoyed with all of us and would like us to stop commenting on our own show.
If we don't comment on it, who will? We're just trying to boost the algorithm, okay?
And another one of our guests has said that this episode is brought to you by reading glasses.
Oh, wow. We all are wearing glasses.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
How come I'm the only one with glare? How do you guys manage it so that there's no glare?
I look away.
I'm like over an arm's distance from my computer screen.
And she turns her brightness down. And I have bright lights all over me, so it's not enough to get off the TV.
So if I look up, there's a glare, but I have to like.
I know if you do like the head tilt, that then ends up making it so that your neck actually eventually pops out, and then you have a headache. But you don't know if the headache's from the show or from the angle you're sitting at. But whatever.
I just keep doing this German Shepherd thing, like that.
Yeah. Does it work every tip this way?
Did somebody open a can of treats?
All right.
Can't open it.
All right. So before we get too horribly off topic, Kathleen, try to see what we can do to bring us back on topic with Golden Girls.
Should I put my mustache away?
It apparently worked for Nick, but you have to keep it up there the whole time you talk.
Oh, I probably do that.
You know what? Just you got to draw one on like the inside of your finger, so you can be like mustache. Anyway,
Timothy.
Oh, I did not see it. That is fantastic.
It's just a very tiny mustache because my pen was running out of ink. But anyway. All right, over there.
Trying not to spit my water all over the electronics. I hear that's a bad thing.
It's an Apple product. It's okay.
You shush your mouth. Anyway, but don't shush your mouth. Start talking about Golden Girls.
Right? So, yes, I was going to take Golden Girls, and it's kind of a Golden Girls meets Invader Zim sort of scenario. That
you have my attention.
That they are actually aliens trying to take over the world, except for Sophia, who is the human protecting them. And also, she's been promised that when they take over the world, she gets whatever prize she wants, because it's Sophia, and how are you going to say no to her? But I have decided that Rose is the robot, so she's Gur. Blanche has just been distracted by the physical aspects of humanity, and Dorothy is the science officer.
Perfect.
So the reason that none of their plans are succeeding is because Rose has gotten distracted by squirrels and tuna and cupcakes and all of these funny, silly, fluffy things about the world. Blanche has been distracted by the physical aspects of humanity and got distracted by the male physique. Sorry. Anyway. And Dorothy is trying to keep them on topic, and it doesn't work. You're welcome.
I like it. I think that works.
It'll work.
Yeah.
It'll work.
That totally works.
Yeah, I think that could go.
It would work better as a zombie movie since most of them are dead, but
for Betty White, because Betty White will never die.
Yeah, if she died, we could finally get that Golden Girls.
Protect that woman at all costs.
You know, I'm glad you brought up Betty White, because there's something later on in the show that we will be sharing with everybody as well.
Oh, yeah.
When you started into that sense, I'm like, how are you going to tie Betty White in?
Wait, she fits my dating profile needs.
She doesn't have any kids, so you got
Perfect.
that going for you too.
Perfect.
And she is literally older than sliced bread.
Yep.
Well, yes, there is that. So.
And do you know why she's living as long as she is? Because she used to be Betty Gray.
Because she's related to the Queen of England?
No, because she defeated the Balrog and she was resurrected as Betty White, obviously.
Obviously.
Jeez, Nick.
Yeah, your
Yeah,
husband.
the guy that
understands
actually married you.
Thank goodness he understands me.
I'm
That
just
is
gonna
a-
say I got the joke,
Thank you.
and I was laughing.
You were.
Yes,
I appreciate it.
I thought it was a very good joke.
Shannon's very supportive, and I do appreciate that.
Thank you.
It would have been funnier with a mustache, but
That is
You would've-
very true.
If you would've
Maybe you
gotten
should
it
draw
up,
one on your finger.
exactly. Show,
I do have makeup over here. I could just put a makeup mustache on. And I said it first, John. So
Well, only because he's not on camera. So
all right. I would love to watch a sci-fi Golden Girls where they're aliens. I
I
think that
also
would
kind
be.
of want like a revamped Golden Girls, where now Betty White is Sophia.
Yeah, I kind of want to hear the theme song of the Golden Girls, but more of a Red Dwarf vibe to it.
Ooh. There is actually a version of the Golden Girls theme song on the My Little Pony movie soundtrack. Just
That is all kinds of painful.
Yeah,
It is.
and what they do today with these songs, I don't know if anybody saw that. Who's the girl from the Queen's Gambit that has that new movie out? Where she transports to the 1940s. Anybody seen that yet?
no, I have
It
not.
came out. Well, she does a rendition. It's the #1 movie right now in America, so
Well, that
it's
can't
doing
Yeah, I don't-
pretty well.
that can't
I
be
don't go to
Eternals
movie
then.
theaters anywhere.
No, it's not Eternals, that's for sure. That's. Uh-oh, I'm ringing.
Hey, that 1-800 number is paying off.
It is already. But she does a rendition. She does a rendition in the movie of Downtown, the 60s song
Mhm.
Downtown, and she slows it down and made it really horror and really dark. And
Is it Anya Taylor-Joy or whatever her name is?
yeah, I guess that's her name.
Well, you said Queen's Gambit, and I'm using
Yeah.
Google because that's what I do. And I
Whatever
don't know the
movie
answers to
she's in,
things.
and I can't think of the name of it, but
Okay.
it,
I got nothing.
and
That's
listen to
what I often
the
say on
MASH
some-
song too. I mean, listening to these songs, if you hear the whole songs, like the MASH song,
Oh,
This song is
And
just
so-
super depressing anyway.
yeah, it's actually called. What is the title of the MASH song?
Suicide is pain-
Suicide is
painless.
Painless
Mm.
is the name of the song, and it
The
is
TV show
dark.
MASH?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
the show MASH.
There are lyrics. Who knew?
There's lyrics to it.
And
Really?
very happy. Yeah.
I always thought that was kind of a. I always thought that was kind of a chipper theme song.
You
I
have
guess not.
just
The music
destroyed
is
him.
lovely, but the lyrics are like,
Yeah.
The
Oh, yeah,
Office.
with Groundhog Day premise.
Yeah.
Isn't that just working in an office anyway?
Yeah, that's perpetual work.
That's called Monday through Friday until
Yeah.
you retire.
What I do anyway.
And yes, Kathleen Squirrel.
All right, Fred, tell us about your show.
Okay, I want to
Seinfeld.
start by saying I'm a complete fraud. I'm a sci-fi fraud, absolute sci-fi fraud.
Fred the Fraud.
My fandom begins with Starship Troopers and ends at Star Wars. I am not into. First of all, I believe Star Trek is a boring, unintelligent show with the depth of the Brady Bunch on a spaceship. I never grasped the industry in any way beyond perhaps comic
E.T.?
books, and I am a fraud, and my name is Fred. So, with that, I came up with something
I
that's
think you
very
just lost
much,
2 of your 10 listeners.
yeah, very much like. But I am honest. You did say I'm honest.
I did say that, yes.
I do tell the truth. So, now they're making fun of the guy in the middle. Those cheeks are scaring the crap out of him.
Well, you got to put on a little bit of rouge before the show, so
We're just
right.
Brings up-
embarrassing.
brings out your chin line.
So originally I was thinking, when, Third Rock from the Sun type stuff and
Sure.
all that, because that adds a sci-fi. But I wanted to bring it into the Seinfeld era
Okay.
and try to turn Seinfeld into a sci-fi and call it Seinfeld 2250 from Out of This World. So I come with graphics. And when I come with graphics, I like to include my guests that are with me too. Tim, specifically, he loves these toys. Now, I don't have a single one of these toys. I don't see the joy in it. But let me digress. Okay. There's not a lot of needed in this to turn Seinfeld into this. I believe adding a Seinfeld element to it could be watchable. So we just got to change the setting. So 2250. So this is what I got. Jerry, the bumbling jester for the alien race Moronicons, is sent to New York City to live amongst the Earthlings to learn how to make his alien race laugh. He's housed amongst past Moronicons who have failed. Kramer, who was banished for laziness, sent to learn how to become a hard worker. Elaine, banished for bad dancing and sent to learn Earthling moves. George, banished for consistent shrinkage, sent to conquer the water/erectile issue. So together they strive to be better and return to Moronicon. Okay. Is this working at all?
Yeah, you're doing great.
I love it. I could. Would you watch it, Fred?
Yes, I would, because it can't be less funny than the actual Seinfeld. So it's, it'll work. It will work. But I also have a tie-in here now. So Jerry, the Moronicon, he was allowed one single alien possession on Earth. So he brought his Kal-El figure of his grandfather, thus explaining why Superman is in every episode.
I love it.
No, that's a good tie-in.
See, I did some homework today, a little homework, because I don't watch Superman. I don't watch it. Like she had commented on my ET poster. Now, Tim knows I'm an 80s movies freak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surrounded by it in my office here in my studio, but I didn't watch ET for the sci-fi element of it. I was watching ET for the characters involved, and that's where I get lost between. I'm not on the level of you guys with the Doctor Who's and all this stuff. I can't get into robots and all that stuff.
Just a huge fan of Doctor What, though.
Right, Doctor.
He's
or
on second.
Mine is Doctor Who. That's about as far as I go.
Okay, no, I think that's really good. And I'm kind of wishing I would have sent you my show earlier so that you could have done some research for me, because that's way more involved than mine, and the non-sci-fi guy is probably going to show me up. So that's awesome. We got that. All right,
that's okay. It happens a lot. You'll get used to it. And maybe Tim will come on the Head of Fred show. Available wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right. So let's see. E.T. did have some really good characters and a great story. Shannon, I forgot to get this up earlier, but she was trying to encourage you to talk longer so that she didn't have to go anytime soon.
I did not do any homework today, so mine's real brief.
So
that's absolutely fine.
That's okay. So we have other things we can talk about after this. So we are by no means going to be done at the 35th minute, even though we're at minute 33 and a half, almost 34. All right. So Shannon, tell everybody about Fawlty Towers. And for those who aren't familiar with it, give them a quick synopsis of what the original show was about.
Sure. So for those of people who know Monty Python, Fawlty Towers stars John Cleese, who is famously one of the original Pythons. Well, there was only an original Python. So, but in Fawlty Towers, they were actually in this hotel to film a movie, I think, to make one of the Monty Python films. And they were all awestruck by how incredibly rude the guy who owned the hotel was. He acted as if they were all just sort of burdensome and annoying and getting in the way of him running a hotel when they were actually guests in his hotel. So Cleese loved him, thought he was wonderful, decided to base a character on him, and thus came Basil Fawlty of Fawlty Towers. It only ran for 12 shows. There were 2 seasons of 6 episodes each, and then they quit. And the main characters are Basil Fawlty, who is John Cleese, who is the brusque, annoying owner of this hotel, who's constantly aspiring to be in higher social circles than he actually is, and who is very annoyed by all these just people that he thinks are sort of beneath him. And his wife, Sybil, who he's afraid of, and then some people that work there. Polly, who is the only sensible character on the show, and Manuel, the terribly unfortunate character who now many people see as somewhat racist and anti-immigrant, and that's probably not far off the truth. But anyway, that's the original show. So I've decided to call my version of the show Falling Towers, because they have managed to somehow find the only pocket of gravity in outer space. Don't mention the war. That's right. Exactly. So I did one time watch a Faulty Towers marathon, and by the end of it practically had to be sedated because the show is so, you're constantly at this level of like, stop doing what you're doing. Just sit down, shut up, and stop making it worse. But yeah, so we've decided to call ours Falling Towers, and it is based on the premise that this is a hotel that just basically floats in outer space, and people stumble upon it, stay for a few nights, and then float on to their next destination. But that it is... Someone wake up Kathleen. It is wonderful and anxious, and I'm really kind of running out of ideas already because, like I said, I had no research to do, but I have decided that Sybil Faulty is the AI because she seems to know everything, even when Basil's trying to hide things from her. So she would be sort of the snarky AI who's under control of everything. Manuel is the super intelligent alien that they have invited on board their ship. The reason that he comes across as rather silly and foolish is because he just doesn't speak human. And he's actually this vastly superior intellect that is just stuck trying to, he's basically Marvin from Hitchhiker's Guide. And exactly. Thank you, Justin. And I'm out of ideas. Anybody else?
Maybe you could you work penile shrinkage into this?
Oh, absolutely. There's got to be a hotel pool or something.
Okay.
I was in the pool.
It was cold. This is not a problem with which I am massively familiar, but I'm sure we can figure out something. And Sybil, I understand that Sybil's voice, when she hits that higher register, is shrinkage all on its own.
See,
all right.
And that's what makes it funny.
Ta-da!
Right there. You just made the funny.
You did great. You did great for someone who says, I don't think I know how to do this.
All day long, I was like, I really should watch an episode of Faulty Towers right now.
I should say that I took Mick Manhattan's advice because before the show, I told Mick Manhattan I didn't think I was going to do very well with my idea, and that he told me, just go on and do what you do. Be funny. That's all he said.
That's all you can do. Yeah, I don't want anybody to come on here and be something that they're not. I invited you on here knowing you're not a huge sci-fi fan. I invited you on here because I know that you're big into characters and character development. So I figured anything that you picked was going to have to do more with the characters and how the characters got there than anything. It was exactly what you did.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty transparent.
Pretty predictable on some things. We'll take it.
Yep.
That's all right. That's good to be that way on a lot of things. All right. So far we've had Psych, we've had Golden Girls, we've had Seinfeld, and we've had Faulty Towers.
Thank you, Laz.
Yeah. So I went, let's see, Maxwell Mark. That needs to be a poster. Yeah, there you go. Or Manuel, rather, not Maxwell, excuse me. I went for a 1990s era sitcom from ABC Friday Night Television. I don't think that was Must Watch TV. It was called something. They called it something. I don't remember what ABC called it, but I think Must Watch was on NBC.
TV? I don't know.
Yeah, it was something. Oh, it was TGIF.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it was TGIF because it was on Friday nights. So the show that I picked is called Family Matters, which you might remember with Urkel. Steve Urkel.
Okay, I was thinking Family Guy, and I couldn't figure out how that was on ABC. But okay, now I'm in.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. So you slap. So Urkel is the nerdy next door neighbor who's always kind of trouncing in on the Winslow family and coming in, even especially when he's unwanted.
Until he's Stefan.
Until he's Stefan for a couple episodes and was, really super cool. But so in my version, it's still going to be called Family Matters because Steve Urkel is from the planet Urkel. I was really original on this one. See, John, again, I'm siding with your wife about taking the W off your name. Their last name is Was. You do the math. Anyway, so he crash lands on Earth outside of Chicago, and he's going to be stuck here for a while. But on his planet, they're all nerds, and he doesn't know how to behave any other way, and he doesn't understand boundaries, which is why he's always impeding on the Winslow family and coming in even when he's uninvited or asked to leave. He sticks around because he doesn't understand social constructs and boundaries, and he's here to learn. As long as he's going to be here, his assignment from his officers is that he has to learn human society and why family matters. And so he's trying to get in and learn as much as he can, but at the same time, he happens to fall in love with the daughter, Laura, even though she's from a different planet. What are you giggling about over there?
Just a thought that had popped into my head. So
I'm scared.
It's Mork and Mindy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Mork and Mindy, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually thinking the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, goodness, yeah.
And honestly, you say that
Urkel loses tail and gain legs, and
Tim, there's laws that prevent you from doing this.
Apparently, I didn't even think about it until he's like, "Yeah, it's Mork and Mindy." I'm like, "No, it's not." Oh, yeah, it is.
you say that he falls in love with Laura even though she's from a different planet. That's most relationships.
Yeah, well.
Mm.
Let's see. The aliens have various eating habits. Inspiration from my Mr. Chris. Not
there's a wafer thin.
wafer thin.
Care for a meat.
Okay, so even though apparently I have just plagiarized Mork and Mindy to the worst and most horrible degree ever without even really recognizing it, that's pretty impressive, actually.
It's a great idea for a TV show that they already did.
How about a blind woman falls in love with a weeping angel?
Okay, I gotta say, Laz here is definitely onto something with this.
Laz, that scares the crap out of me, and
I'm trying to think though.
Thank you.
A blind person would be in serious trouble. What? Oh, okay, that's the head. I was trying to figure out what kind of shiny pet you had.
Just a random floating head.
All right. So those are our opinions on shows that we could take and make into sci-fi, even plagiaristically so. 4 of the 5 of us are be able to make it onto air. The 5th is going to be sued out of the universe before the pilot even gets written. So, yeah. All right. So, guys, just as a quick reminder, before we move on to anything else, remind everybody again, where can they find the OZ9?
You can find the podcast pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts, and we have a website at oz-9.com.
All right. And Fred, for the head of Fred, the picture says it all. Okay. And for those playing the non-video version of this game, and there's the ending of the Stigma. I'll tell you what, let me. Oh, come on.
I think Fred needs 2 R's in his first name to really make the symmetry work. There's a lot of double letters in that name.
He's Fred Dida.
Fred did.
Fred did.
Fred, and backwards it's the Durf.
Is the Durf. It makes me laugh. You also use the Durf thing because so does my brother.
The Durf.
He is also
right.
Durf.
And my motto is everybody loves double D's. That's the motto I go with for the show.
I can't argue with that.
So last Friday, we were excited.
Nick's like, for the love of God,
And the deadpan
Let's move
shift.
on.
The deadpan shift. I love it. So last Friday.
We were excited to bring you our interview with Armin Shimmerman, Quark from Star Trek, Next Generation, and Deep Space Nine. We talk about his
episode of Voyager, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I missed that in the write-up.
And Voyager.
You're welcome.
And we talk about his time on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, along with other projects, as well as the book that he has written. He
Nice.
sent me a copy here.
That is the second in that series.
Yes.
Nice.
That is book 1.
Oh, that one's book 1? Okay. Sorry. The second one's the one that came out last week.
Right. Came out on Friday the 5th.
Yeah.
I was trying to be helpful.
And so Armin also answered some questions from people in our Facebook group. Yes, I guess so.
We are all doomed. Yes. It's not even up for debate.
Are you
And he
All right.
answered some questions from our Facebook group, and we also got to really understand him and his characters a bit more. Let's just play the video we got for him.
I was just waiting to see where you're going with this. So
I
was
don't
like-
know where I was going with it.
And he's like, and here we go.
He
with
just
a
started
short trip
talking
into
and he
left
expected the
field.
sentence to go
The voice
somewhere
of
at some
reason
point.
thing got to me. It's like,
You threw him off, John. Way to go.
Here we go.
Has Armin Shimmerman ever played a good character, or has he always not?
He's
We
got
were-
a good character. He talked about it in the podcast. He talked about it in the interview. He did have one.
Tim had a theory about that, but it got cut out because we didn't really have a whole lot of like interaction, and like his internet happened to freeze, and he was just like,
He looked like he was very, very, very detailedly paying attention or focused paying attention.
I thought
to
I was
Tim.
like, wow, he's really into my answer. He likes this answer or my idea. I'm like, this is great. This
And then
I'm like,
nope.
we
internet
got
just
something
went
going
out.
on, and all of a sudden, blink, there goes the screen. I'm like, oh, dang it. Anyway,
thought he liked me.
here's the Armin Shimmerman promo.
I'm your host, the proprietor, a sympathetic ear to the wretched souls that pass through these portals. Who said anything about volunteering? We can haggle over price later.
Hi, I'm Armin Shimmerman, and welcome to Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
Yeah,
Awesome.
really a bad character per se, but he's just very
He's chaotic.
chaotic neutral.
Chaotic's not a bad thing. Chaotic is fun.
Is he the type of actor that's always in costume type?
No.
Nope.
No.
But he has done a lot of Shakespeare. He's done over a third of it of
Wow.
Shakespeare's canon in theatrical plays and stuff. And
He teaches Shakespeare.
yeah.
Tremendous Shakespearean scholar, so he really understands it.
Don't quote Shakespeare to him. He will tell you you're wrong.
He'll tell you why you're wrong. And if you pronounce his species wrong, he'll also correct you on that.
And what is the species, Tim?
It's not Ferengi, I can tell you that much. It's Ferengi.
It is Ferengi.
Because when you're recording with somebody and you say the species wrong a couple different times, and he politely corrects you a couple different times,
You will
tend to pay
never
attention. You
say it wrong
tend to
again.
pay attention the third time. So
How embarrassing.
honestly, yeah, it kind of was.
Did you
Which
tell him
why
that that
we
was
will
just
continue to
plural?
mention
And was Nick nice enough to cut that out of the interview? No, he wasn't.
He cut out my Ferengi joke, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's-
Is one just the plural of the other, though?
No, Ferengi is just
It's
plural or
I was trying to
singular.
give Tim an out, but
I appreciate that, and I saw what you were doing, but I was just going to leave it alone.
I'm
the-
gonna crush it along with Tim's hopes and dreams right now.
The one quote I took away from that episode was a quote that his wife told him was, if you want to be the knight, you got to put on the armor.
And that's why he wears the makeup.
Hey,
I just-
speaking of wives, I contacted one, and my next guest is, and
The only person we know who hates our show.
yeah. So his wife said on Instagram that he'd be glad to come on my show, so he will be on.
Oh,
the head of Fred show.
Wait.
Are you serious?
His
No.
wife said that he'll be on your show?
No.
No, I'm just.
Oh.
Because that would be hilarious.
No, he's messing with me.
I'm just having fun at Tim's expense.
Continuing to crush Tim.
Since everybody else is having fun at Tim's expense, Fred's like, yeah, I remember this story. Let's
Thank
go on
you
with
for
that.
inviting me on your show, one and only time.
And that was nice to have Fred on. No,
You can still find that episode of the Funny Science Fiction Podcast on the YouTube channel and your favorite audio podcast providers. And remember, your subscription to our YouTube channel is a major help. So please don't forget to click like and subscribe as you watch the videos.
All right. And this Friday, I'm so excited. I like that I get to do the here's what's coming up instead of the here's what we just did. I get to do the next week.
And this is where the Betty White comes in.
This is where Betty White comes in. We did not interview Betty White, but that would be awesome.
It's a connection, though.
It is. So this
very
week,
loose connection.
we have an interview with one of the most talented voice actors I know. I've personally heard him in hundreds of thousands of things. Literally, like he's got it's insane. And he's a Michigander, which means we love him that much more. We have an interview with the one, the only. Play the video.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Rob?
I think so, Nick, but if Jack's black and Betty's white, is Marvin gay? No.
Chief, mate, what do you want to do tonight?
Hello, this is Pinky,
A.K.A. Rob Paulson.
and you genius people, are listening to the Funny Science Fiction Podcast. No.
Yeah, so we're pretty excited to have Rob
Sweet.
Paulson on the Funny Science Fiction Podcast this upcoming Friday. If you're familiar with Rob, you know that he's the voice of Yakko Warner. He's from Animaniacs. He's the voice of Pinky from Pinky and the Brain. He's Carl Weezer from Jimmy Neutron.
He's
Raphael
Dr.
from
Scratch and Sniff.
Raphael from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and so many more.
I feel like we should just pull up his IMDb and just start scrolling for people.
We don't have enough time to scroll
We
through
don't.
his IMDb, honestly.
It must be do you think it's tough? I mean, something you might want to ask this person, maybe off the air or something even. But I always wondered if they were aiming for something like to be on screen, to be an actor and stuff like that, and fell into this voiceover work, and then they don't get noticed as often until I wondered.
Actually, we've asked that of a couple different voice actors, how they got into voice acting, if they prefer voice acting to on-screen acting. And actually, Rob is one of the ones that prefers voice acting.
Yeah, and it works out. One of my neighbors is H. John Benjamin. I don't know if you know who H. John Benjamin is, from all the Family Guys and Bob. He's every voice on Bob's Burger and all that.
Yeah.
And he says the same thing. He wasn't trying to be, an actor per se. He always enjoyed the voice side of it. And it's been very fruitful for him.
We found that with most of the voice actors that we talked to that we've asked that about, they actually like not being noticed as much because they do get to have more of a normal life
They get their
while
anonymity.
still having their soundproof room that they could theoretically kill somebody inside of their house. And
They should just
I was just recording.
They should just become an indie podcaster.
Exactly.
Nobody will know who the hell they
That's
are.
where the big bucks are, after all.
Right.
You know what? Just this afternoon, I was able to go to the grocery store and nobody noticed me. It was great.
In small town Michigan, that's a really hard thing to do. So I'm really proud of you, Tim.
Does that mean that you can just shoplift at will?
And I feel bad that
Unfortunately, no.
I feel bad, Tim, that Kathleen called me out because that's a Jeff Dwoskin thing. The name dropper. I didn't
Welcome.
At least I was on topic, though. It's not like I said. At least, we were talking about voiceover artists. At least I talked about a voiceover artist.
One of the things that I super appreciated about our interview with Rob Paulson is that not only did he take time out of his busy schedule for us, he did so while using free Wi-Fi at a Starbucks.
It's a good interview. Honestly, it's one of the the funniest episodes we've ever had, from opening credit to closing credit. Rob is a stitch, and he's making one joke after another the entire episode, coming in and out of voices, doing
I do not recommend watching it with a full bladder. Just don't make that mistake.
That should be a game.
I don't know, because I know there's part of the interview where he starts singing in Carl Weezer's voice.
Oh,
and
that was
I don't
hilarious.
know if you're gonna make it.
I was not prepared for that.
You almost fell out of your chair. You were so close.
I don't think I have laughed that hard at anything that's been done on our show ever. So if you're not familiar with Carl Weezer from Jimmy Neutron, I strongly suggest that after we're done here tonight,
and Jimmy's mom makes a really good.
If you're still on YouTube, please stay on YouTube for a moment and just type in Carl Weezer Sings, Wheezer. Carl Weezer Sings. Yeah.
So I am hoping
you'll have a frame of reference for Friday.
Awesome.
I am hoping that at some point Tim laughs so hard he falls out of his chair, and he was so close, so close. It's gonna happen.
Challenge
Tim.
accepted.
It's gonna happen. You're gonna tip your chair over backward. You're gonna kick your mic stand. You're gonna make all sorts of a ruckus, and it's going to be hilarious.
When we're gonna see that shelf full of those
Right, the Funkos just go.
Yeah.
How did you break your foot? Well, I was laughing so hard I kicked my desk.
It broke my mic stand, and I got avalanche of Funkos on my head.
So we've had some really cool interviews as of late. We've had some great episodes on funny science fiction. Armin was a true literally a true scholar and a gentleman. What a wonderful man to talk to.
I've never been thanked for questions before.
It was odd.
It's nice.
It was nice.
Very
It made
cool.
me feel smart and appreciated, and I
Yeah.
need that in my life.
It is good. It is good. It's also a good sign that you're either learning or getting better, like we all should be in every step of our lives. But you're probably becoming, and you don't even realize it, you're becoming a better interviewer. You're just learning from the steps, and it's a great feeling when somebody acknowledges it.
Look at that, dropping knowledge bombs over there.
Yeah.
And I use the same 3 questions, and they're still like, "That's a good question."
Yeah.
But are they saying it sincerely?
I like
Maybe
how you
not,
just
but-
publicly admitted that to, so they're like, well, Nick's up. We can tune out. We heard this question before.
Yeah, but they always have different and interesting answers to each of those questions.
No, you only use one question repeatedly. The other ones you
He's got
they're
got
interchangeable.
A list of 5 or
he's
6
got-
questions that he switches out. Come on.
I call
Why
it the
does
hot-
Nick look like he's in a rubber room? Like he's no pictures on the wall.
Well,
What's
he's
going
been
on?
part of the
No.
show long enough. He's actually been institutionalized.
Yes.
They're just letting him have an hour of computer time.
Nick's got the hot sheet going. 5,
It's
6
like a day
questions.
pass, only smaller and sadder.
All right, so guys, hey, thank you, Fred, so much for coming on. I appreciate you coming on and putting your sci-fi pants on for a little bit. Actually, we're just happy that you're wearing pants. We're
Space
assuming from the waist up,
Sorry.
it's visible. And then Shannon, thank you as well for coming on. You did awesome. Like I said, you're gonna
Well,
do
thank
just
you.
fine.
You're
guys-
Thank you for letting me be me.
Oh yeah. Well, there's no point in not having you be you. That's why I had you on the show, because you're you. So, but yeah, thank you guys very much. And please, if you haven't signed up for a Funny Science Fiction podcast yet, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please take this opportunity to smash the subscribe button now. But please,
don't break it.
well, as long
Smash
as
it gently.
no, if it breaks on
that
continuous
possible?
subscribe, that's not a word. I just-
Some Scrabbles.
some Scrabbles.
Scrabble. That's Michigan talk.
No, that's not even Michigan.
No,
That's just
that's
old,
just Monday.
That's just old Tim's head on a Monday. So
You know what makes me happy? When Michigan State beats Michigan. But almost as happy as when.
So anyway, it was
Thank you. I wish I had that power. As long as Ohio State doesn't win, we're fine.
I
but
think
hey-
he was just about to say that.
I know he was. I was just stealing his thunder.
So, but thank you guys again so much for coming on. And guys, if you, like I said, if you haven't subscribed to Funny Science Fiction, please go do that. And then when you're done with that, please go check out the OZ9. Please go check out the Head of Fred. And please check out Ending the Stigma. Some very important conversations are being had on that channel, and what Fred is doing over there with Scott H. Silverman. It's honestly, it's a very powerful show. A lot of very strong and important conversations are being had. I can't talk that show up enough, and what they're attempting to do. So please go give it your support. It's a very well needed. It's a topic. The topics that are being shared there: suicide prevention, drug addiction, alcohol abuse, all these different things where the stigma needs to come down around them so that people's lives can be saved. So, all right, guys, thank you very much. And yes, Laz, we are next level here. We make new words. All right.
We're fancy.
So Scrabbles, go give us some Scrabbles, because that's what we need. We don't even know how to end the show. So
before we do anything else stupid, good night, guys.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of Funny Science Fiction, we'd like to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on one of our future episodes, please contact us by means of our Facebook group, Funny Science Fiction. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FunnySci-Fi, or you can go to DraytonAllen.com and click the Contact Me link at the bottom of the page. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed the episode.